Yo, what's up, guys? We're back with another video today, and guys, now that UFC 316 has just taken place, it is now time to talk about what is next for these fighters, UFC 316 edition, right? I will be matchmaking some of the fighters and some of the losers from UFC 316 and giving my thoughts on who they should be fighting next, right? We'll be talking mostly about the main card, but we'll be eventually talking about the prelims, some of the most notable ones, I feel. So without further ado, let's start off with the main event. Alright, for the main event, right, listen, I know they're going to do Merab versus Corey Sandhagen. I know they're going to. It just makes the most sense, right? But here's what I think should be done, I think, as well. Merab Dvalishvili versus Alexandre Pantoja, right? Because let's be honest, I'm going to just say out flat out, I think Merab beats pretty much anybody in this division. I genuinely don't know anybody who can beat Merab right now. The only person who can is Umar, but Umar lost to him, and I don't think Umar can beat Merab, but like 10 times out of 10 times. Maybe once, but that's it. I honestly don't think so. I think Pantoja, on the other hand, is a very interesting matchup. Pantoja likes to go crazy. He will put a crazy pressure on people as well, right? He's very similar to Merab, I feel. He's not like the same, of course he's not, but he's got similarities, I feel, that give me the same vibe as Merab, I would feel. On the feet, I feel like Pantoja's better, and I feel like as well, Merab's not going to be able to take down like Pantoja and have success on the ground compared to like when he takes down O'Malley or like some of these other guys, right? He'll have success there, but I don't think he's going to have that same success like with Pantoja, I feel. I feel like this would be a very interesting matchup. This is probably the most deserving like move up from a weight class than for any champion right now, because Pantoja, he's beating everybody in that division. There is practically no one else left for him. Once he beats Kai Kara-France, which I know he's going to, I just say just move it. Just go up in weight class and just fight Merab, honestly. Because, like, what else is there for him to do right now? All right, now for the loser of the main event, Sean O'Malley, right? I don't know what's going to happen with Sean O'Malley, right? I don't think Sean O'Malley's going to stay at bantamweight, right? I don't think so. I think the most logical matchup for me, like, if I was Sean O'Malley, right? And I just lost to Merab twice now, which basically, he's not going to get the belt. He's not going to get the belt back at bantamweight. I would say move up to featherweight and give a try there, right? Now, there are a couple of options that Sean O'Malley could face, right? You've got Yair, Diego Lopez, you know, those guys. But I think those guys are going to be fighting soon. I'm praying they do Yair versus Diego Lopez. Please, Dana, use your brain and make that fight, but whatever. I think a good fight for Sean O'Malley, if he were to move up to featherweight, is Arnold Allen. I think Arnold Allen is pretty good fight for him. I would say if O'Malley can beat Arnold Allen in a fight, he could arguably argue for a title shot, honestly, because that's just Sean O'Malley. He's got the star power and all that stuff. I think this is a very interesting fight right here. I would honestly, if I was just Sean O'Malley, I'd just say go up to featherweight. He's a big bantamweight, and he's a tall guy. Even when he goes up to featherweight, he won't be tiny, I feel. I think this is a very interesting matchup. I think, honestly, he could potentially do good at featherweight. We just have to see, honestly, because, honestly, I don't know what's going to happen with Sean O'Malley, honestly. All right, now for the winner of the co-main event, we have Kayla Harrison. I think we all know what's going to be. It's going to be Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. I don't think there's any complaint about it. I will say, though, I hope Kayla Harrison wins this fight against Amanda Nunes because at least there'll be someone new in that division, right? If Amanda Nunes beats Kayla Harrison, what's the point of, like, this division? You might as well genuinely close it. If Amanda Nunes can come back off a 2-year layoff, right? Mind you, she's not even in her prime anymore. She's like 38 when this fight will ever happen. And she goes out there and beats Kayla Harrison, who, mind you, Kayla Harrison's this new up-and-coming lady. She just beat the champion. She's basically like the new, like, fresh name in that division, right? If Amanda Nunes goes out there and beats Kayla Harrison pretty comfortably, there's literally no point of keeping that division. You genuinely might have to, like, close that division. It is completely shallowed by the fact that Amanda Nunes dominated that division so comfortably. This is worse than what Demetrius Johnson did to flyweight, because when Demetrius Johnson left, flyweight actually recovered. There were new people coming up that division and made new names for themselves. Thus, flyweight was able to survive, right? Bantamweight for women's division don't have that same luxury. Like, no new up-and-coming ladies are coming up in that division to make it more interesting and more refreshing, right? Kayla Harrison is the only person in that entire division who's made it somewhat interesting. And if Amanda Nunes goes out there and beats her, you might as well just genuinely cut that division. All right, now for the loser of the co-main event, we have Juliana Pena. Listen, Juliana Pena, pack up your bags, pack up everything. Your whole career is done. It's time for you to go to the PFL. I'm sure they'll welcome you with open arms, Juliana Pena. I think you'll be treated much better. You'll get paid more. You'll probably win fights easier, honestly. Juliana Pena might genuinely, I don't know what you'll do with Juliana Pena. Just get cut her from the sport, honestly, genuinely. All right, now for the feature fight, we have Joe Pyfer, right? Joe Pyfer obviously beat Calvin Gastelum in a very boring fight. I'm not going to lie with you. I think, honestly, for Joe Pyfer, I think a good test for Joe Pyfer would be against Abus Nurmagomedov. I think that's actually a very interesting fight. I think it's a sick fight. I think it's a sick fight, in my opinion, right there. I think, honestly, I could see Abus winning this. I could honestly see Abus being Joe Pyfer because apart from, like, the KO threat that Joe Pyfer has, he doesn't really have much else, honestly. Abus has, like, the striking, the grappling, a bit of wrestling. His cardio has gotten a lot better, I would say, compared to when he fought Sean Strickland a couple years back. He's definitely improved much more than where he was then. Joe Pyfer hasn't really improved much, I feel. His cardio and his output has been, I don't feel like he's improved that much, if I'm going to be honest with you. I think if he were to go out there and, show a good amount of improvement against Abus, I would say, okay, now you can fight guys up in the rankings now. I think Abus is in the rankings, but really, I don't really see Abus, being, a top-tier level guy. I see him being, a top 20-ish guy, which is why I think this is a good test for Joe Pyfer, because then the winner of this can then move on to fight a top 10 ranked opponent in that division. All right, now for Mario Batista, man. Listen, Mario Batista, I think he should be given Alex Perez. No, okay, no, I'm joking. But realistically, in all seriousness, I think honestly Mario Batista versus Song Yadong is actually a very interesting fight. I will say, I think that's actually a very interesting, sick fight right there. I could see Song Yadong, I'm hoping if this fight were to happen, I'm praying that Song Yadong would knock out Mario Batista badly in that fight. I'm praying that would happen. But I think it'll mostly go to a decision, if I'm going to be honest. I do think this is, the most logical matchup, honestly. I could see him doing, rebooking the Chio Vera fight, because Chio Vera didn't really, he seems fine from the images I'm seeing on him on social media, on his Instagram, all that stuff. He seems fine, so they'll probably rebook this, if I'm going to be honest, Mario versus Chio Vera. But I wouldn't mind Mario Batista versus, Song Yadong. I think that's actually a very interesting fight right there. All right, now we have Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland submit Vicente Luque pretty easily. He looked pretty good in that fight. Vicente Luque, he just don't got him anymore, if I'm going to be honest with you. For Kevin Holland, I'd say, honestly, the Colby Covington call-out, I like that call-out, I think. I think that's a very interesting fight. I think the build-up would be great. These two would be trash-talking each other like hell on the press conference. They would go ham on each other like nothing else, honestly. These two would genuinely not like each other. I don't think these two like each other to begin with, but I think this would be very interesting, to be honest with you. And I think Kevin Holland would beat Colby Covington. I don't think Colby Covington has it in him anymore. Maybe in a 5-rounder, I could see Colby Covington getting this done. But if it's a 3-rounder, which I think this would be, I think Kevin Holland would school Colby Covington. All right, now for our boy Joshua Van. Joshua Van absolutely put on a monster class on Bruno Silva, which, by the way, how did Joshua Van not get Fight of the Night bonus or anything like that? Disgraceful. Joshua Van should have gotten that. Whatever. Here's the thing. I think Joshua Van versus Brendan Moreno would be a sick fight. I'm going to say it right there and then. I think this would be a very interesting and competitive fight. I genuinely do think so. And also, my other reasoning is most of flyweight, basically anybody in the top 10, apart from Brendan Moreno, they're all booked. They've all got fights going on right now. Yeah, Joshua Van could take some time and wait and all that stuff. But I feel like Joshua Van, you should go active and just keep fighting just to show your skill set and just improve and all that stuff. And yes, Brendan Moreno is a massive jump compared to Bruno Silva. Going from Bruno Silva to Brendan Moreno is a massive jump. I am not saying that's nothing. That is a massive jump. But I feel like Joshua Van could do it, honestly. I think Joshua Van could low-key beat Brendan Moreno. His skill set is so good. His boxing is really clean. His output is crazy, this guy. He makes you quit. And his takedown defense is pretty solid, I would say. I genuinely think this is a really competitive fight between these two. I would love to see this. All right, next up we have Amzad Merkuriov. Obviously, he KO'd Ribeiro in like the first round. Easiest prediction I've ever made. Honestly, him versus Volkan Oezdemir makes the most sense, I would say. I don't think there's any other matchup right now. You could do maybe Rockage, maybe anyone in the top 10 that doesn't have a fight going on right now and is also lost. I think have them fight Amza, I think, honestly. I just picked Volkan Oezdemir because he's that guy, honestly. Volkan is in a spot right now where he's the guy who will be having to fight up-and-coming contenders, and they're the stepping stone for him, honestly. If you want to be in the top 10 and be an elite fighter, you have to face Volkan Oezdemir. That is basically how I see it, if I'm going to be honest with you. Alright, now finally we have Waldo Cortez. Waldo Cortez, he had a very controversial fight against Sergey Spivak, which I think won that fight. I don't think Cortez won that fight. I don't think he should fight anyone in the top 10. I genuinely don't think so. I don't think he would beat anybody in that division. Plus, I think a fight between Cortez versus Shamil the Goat Gaziev would be a way bigger fight and way more exciting fight. Mainly because I want Shamil Gaziev to rise in the rankings. You know, Shamil Gaziev, guys, people forget, man, this guy is genuinely the greatest fighter of all time. He is undisputed, he literally is, like, the greatest fighter of all time, man. I think Shamil Gaziev would school Cortez, like, genuinely in all seriousness. I think he would actually beat Cortez in a fight. I just think this is a better fight, honestly. I don't want to see Waldo Cortez, like, get awarded for, like, a top 10 opponent after that performance. I think he should fight someone down the rankings one more time. And I think Shamil Gaziev, it makes the most sense in my opinion. But guys, that is me giving my thoughts on what's next for these fighters. UFC 316 edition. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think some of these guys should fight some other people? Let me know in the comments. Give me your honest thoughts. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace!